Hello everyone, this is MensTruth. Today we're going to talk about anxiety and how to overcome it. So before we start, subscribe to the channel and like. Traditionally, let's start with the basics. What is anxiety? Or rather, where it comes from? I think many of those who are watching this video have experienced it repeatedly, or are still experiencing it. If the feeling of fear cannot be constant, then the feeling of anxiety can poison your life for months. And to make it easier to understand what it is, let's give a brief definition. Anxiety is a reminder that some danger or unpleasant situation awaits us in the future. And it is this expectation of that situation that is the feeling of anxiety. For example, you were told at work that there will be a big layoff soon, in about a couple of weeks. And all this time you've been thinking about what will happen if you lose your job. You won't be able to pay the rent. You won't have any money to eat. You'll have to move back to your parents. In short, a cocktail of shit. And one of the tricks of anxiety is that even if you suppress these unpleasant thoughts, it will still keep you up and interfere with your normal life. But what happens after 2 weeks? Regardless of the outcome, whether you get fired from your job or not, the anxiety will disappear because it has already happened. Of course, you will then have another anxiety what to do next because the rent is due in a week. But this is another question. So that explains everything. And let's move on to recommendations that will help you get rid of this feeling. I'm not going to tell you any books on this topic, but I'll tell you what helped me. No need to drown out disturbing thoughts. It is better to analyze where they come from, what kind of problem it is, and when it appeared. Most likely you already know all this, but think about it. Don't try to pretend that it doesn't exist, because that's how you empower it to f with your brain. I understand that sometimes it's scary to dig under yourself because you don't know what you can dig up and make the situation worse. But this is where you need to start. You need to look the problem in the face. Now that we know the source of the anxiety, we need to imagine the worst that can happen. For example, if you have a bunch of debts secured by your life, imagine that dudes in old cruisers came to you and took you to the forest. Relive this emotion and give yourself the freedom to go wild. Imagine everything in the smallest detail. And when you've scared yourself to the max, ground yourself. Go get a drink of water and realize that you are in your apartment now. Nothing bad is happening at the moment and is unlikely to happen at all. Often our fears are not justified and the worst predictions do not come true. Conversely, things can often turn out in such a way that the situation is resolved in our favor and in a very unexpected way. Now that we know the source of anxiety and have experienced the emotion of the worst case scenario, we need to transform it into action. Our task is to improve the situation, come up with 2 to 3 options that can help you with this, and start taking small steps to resolve the situation. Even if your debt is more than your annual income, start small. Your mind will realize that you are correcting your situation and changing it for the better, and it will no longer need to worry. After all, anxiety is often the brain's signal to call for action. Let's take an example where this also works, but in a slightly different way. Imagine that you came to the gym for the first time and did a workout. Your brain starts signaling you that you are handsome. It gives you the understanding that you are moving in the right direction, despite the fact that this is the first workout where you have been walking on a treadmill all the time. Here it works the same way. The main thing is your activity and not the activity without. That is, when you sit around, no amount of meditation will help you. Let's remember the movie Harry Potter. Do you remember there was a wardrobe from where each student's greatest fears came out? And the method of dealing with them was very simple. They cast a spell on their fear, which turned it into something funny. Like when Severus Snape came out of the closet, they turned his robe into an old lady's outfit. I didn't realize how powerful this technique was before, making fun of a problem or situation. If in the second recommendation we presented the worst case scenario, here, on the contrary, we make it funny. That is, the bandits who came for their money will take you not to the forest but for ice cream. In any case, I recommend you to try all the methods I have given in this video and hope they will help you. Thank you for watching. As always, like and subscribe to the channel.